Thurston, and James Thurston is in, powers his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Bulldogs.
That's just great, powerful running by James Thurston. Just a great run.
On Senior Day, Bowie State defeats Elizabeth City State 19-7. Now, normally I do the negative, then I get to the positive. This week, I'm going to start with the positive and get to the negative. First positive is obviously, after the tough stretch in the middle of the season, Bulldogs now bounce back with 2 consecutive wins. This is the second start for the new installed quarterback, and he had another solid performance, so he's looking like it wasn't just a fluke last week against Bluefield. The secondary had, I believe, 5 interceptions. The offense did score 3 touchdowns this week. We finished the season with a winning record at home. We guarantee that at the very worst, we're going to have a 500 season in the conference as well as overall. Also, what I noticed about Senior Day is a lot of the core guys are not seniors and will be back. Well, you can't say definitely they will be back because, in the age of the transfer portal. But hopefully, and I don't see a reason why not, mostly everybody will be back. So next year, boy. But okay, those are the positives. Got the win, 3 offensive touchdowns, 5 interceptions, I believe, 4 or 5 interceptions. Guaranteed we're not going to have a losing season. Now, let's get into the negatives, because honestly, there were a lot. First negative was not on the team, it's on the fans. Bulldog Nation. I saw what the stands looked like yesterday, and I got to tell you, man, that's unacceptable. Here it is. It's the last home game of the season. So the last time a lot of you are going to be able to see the Bulldogs until next September. On top of that, it was like 75 degrees outside. It was a beautiful day. It's not like it was Morgan's homecoming or Howard's homecoming. It should have been a lot more of y'all out there on Senior Day. A lot more. I'm not saying you got to have the 4,300 like it was at homecoming, but it at least should have been 2,500 of y'all out there. Like I said, it was a beautiful day. Last game of the season, Senior Day. What's going on? So we got to work on that for next year. We got to have some consistent attendance. It's got to be 2,000 people on average next year. Like, come on, man. We can do much better than this. Next issue. I said it. Oh, and I almost forgot. Another positive. Defensively, stopping the run, man. You got those guys did a hell of a job stopping the run yesterday. Held Elizabeth City to under 100 yards rushing. After they had around 150, 160 last week against Virginia State. We shut down their run game. So those guys played some physical football, stopping the run and intercepting 4 or 5 passes. Now, we talked about in the preview to the Elizabeth City game, we talked about in order for the team to win, they had to be more physical. They were very physical, and they had to take care of the football. That's the problem. I can excuse the 1 interception because Elizabeth City is a very good defensive team, and this is only the quarterback's second start. But what I can't overlook are the 3 fumbles. We were very, very fortunate that we were able to recover all 3 of those fumbles, but that just can't happen. And it was multiple running backs. You cannot fumble the ball 3 times in one game. Can't do it. Another issue. We won the game by 2 scores, but we legitimately left at least 10 points on the board. You cannot get that many possessions, that many plays inside the red zone and come up empty as many times as we did in this game. $19 points should have been 27, 28 points. Probably more than that. The red zone should have been a lot better. The amount of times you get the ball at midfield and can't do anything with it should have been a lot better. The third down percentage rate was terrible. And side note, listen, we are not the Philadelphia Eagles. Take that tush push, whatever you want to call that, the Bulldog bunch, throw it in the trash. It doesn't work. Don't do it again. But as many turnovers as we forced, as many times as we were in the red zone, the time of possession was less, differential was less than 1 minute. Why? Because at the end of the day, we could not sustain drives and milk the clock. What was very alarming was that we got the ball up 12 points. So essentially 2 scores, 2 touchdowns. Little over 5 minutes left. Couldn't run out the last 5 minutes of the game and get up out of there. But to make matters worse, we turn right around and get the ball back with less than 2 minutes left and can't run out the last 2 minutes of the game. Have to punt it back to them again. Those are things that have to be looked at. You have to be able to get a couple of first downs and run the time off the clock and get out of there with a win when you're in position to. There's no reason why you get the ball 1st and 10, 1minute and 45 seconds left, and you can't get a first down to run out the clock, and you have to punt the ball back to them again. That's how we almost lost the St. Aug's game. Couldn't run out the clock, had to punt them the ball, and they almost ran it back for a touchdown. This is also after an interception in the red zone. That's why I'm bringing these things up. It's not nitpicking. If you've been watching all year like I've been watching, you know we've had several ugly wins this year. St. Aug's was an ugly win. Shaw was an ugly win. When I say ugly win, I mean bad offense, not being able to run the ball, not being able to milk the clock, leaving points on the board. But fortunately, we were able to win both of those games. Why does that matter? Because you're not taking care of the football. You're not possessing the ball. You're not converting on third downs. You're not taking time off the clock. You're leaving points on the board. And then you play teams with actual talent. You play good teams. You play upper echelon teams like Virginia State and Virginia Union. And that's why that happened. Because the way we played yesterday against Elizabeth City is the exact same way we were playing against Virginia Union and Virginia State. The only difference is Virginia Union and Virginia State are actually good football teams. So it's not nitpicking. If you really watch that game, that second half in particular, that second half was way too many mistakes in that second half. Way too poor of an execution in the second half. I hadn't even gotten to the bad penalties, the roughing the passers, the unnecessary roughnesses, all of those penalties that we got on defense that extended drives and gave them 3 more cracks at the end zone in the red zone. So you can get away with it against St. Aug's and Shaw and Elizabeth City because they are who they are. But see, when you give Virginia State and Virginia Union and some of these other teams a fresh set of downs, 3 more cracks at the end zone, a fresh 1st and goal, you take them from the 35 up into the 20. They score points, and then you lose games, and you get blown out. That second half against Elizabeth City State, you play that same half against Virginia Union, and you saw the score. You play the same half against Virginia State, and you saw the score. have to be able to protect the football. 3 fumbles is way too many. Have to be able to convert on third down. You should never have to punt the ball back and you got it with a minute and 45 left on the clock. Can't happen. You can't get unnecessary roughnesses and roughing the passer inside of your own 30-yard line, giving them 15 yards and a fresh set of downs. You can't stop somebody in the red zone, get a penalty, and give them 3 fresh new downs inside the red zone. You can't do that against quality opponents. Just because we're winning again, that does not mean we overlook what we saw. Because I guarantee you give Lincoln. Once again, Lincoln can score. Lincoln has an offense. Lincoln has a good quarterback. If you look at HBCU touchdown scorers, Lincoln's receiver and their quarterback are at the top of those lists of all HBCU players with touchdowns. You stop them in the red zone and then commit a penalty and give them a fresh first down inside the 5. I guarantee you, they're not Elizabeth City. They're going to score. You playing them and you can't milk the clock, they're going to make you pay for it. But once again, it's a great win in the sense that we won the game. We ensured that we had a winning record at home for the 7th straight year. We scored 3 offensive touchdowns, so the offense is better than it's been, in the last few weeks. It's better. We still left a whole lot of points on the board, but hey, we did find, a solution at quarterback, so that's good. The secondary was picking off balls left and right. That was good. We shut down the run. That was great. But once again, the attention to detail, taking care of the football, converting on third down, possessing the ball, and grinding out the clock when you're up multiple scores. Those things are important as well. Not committing bad penalties. Those things are important as well. Because like I said, last game of the season versus Lincoln, at Lincoln, a lot is on the line. This is either going to be our 7th winning season in a row, and we're going to finish 3rd in the North behind Virginia State and Virginia Union, or this is going to be the first losing season in the first non-winning season in 7 years. It's going to be the first non-winning season, 500 season in the conference in 7 years. It's going to be the first 500 on the road season in quite some time as well. And if we finish 5-5 and Lincoln finishes 5-5 after they beat us head to head, we might finish behind Lincoln for the first time ever. On top of that, this is our 12th game against Lincoln. We've beat them 11 straight times. This will be the first ever loss to Lincoln ever. So there's a lot riding on this game. So these things got to be cleaned up if we're going to beat Lincoln. But hey, we're 5-4, back-to-back wins. The players and the coaching staff showed Bulldog Nation a lot from bouncing back from that adversity in the middle of the season. So much respect for that. But hey, it's all in how you finish. We got to finish strong.